now.
Okay. Blah, blah, blah.
This is Steve Downs, the voice of Master
Ready?
Chief, Spartan 117. Welcome to Quality Time, the KO Koala Entertainment Podcast. Anthony and Skylar will take it from here. Master Chief, out.
I cued you like 100 times. Were you not looking at me?
Oh. No, I was not looking at you.
Well, it's hard for me to cue you if you don't look at me. We'll start over.
Round two.
What are you looking at, my dude?
I was looking at the post that Squid sent.
Hey, Kathamy, welcome to the Twitch stream.
What a fuck up.
Be sure to follow us on Twitch, everyone, by the way. All right, ready? I'm going to do it again. We're going to listen to the intro again. Sorry, everyone. We're starting my recording now.
I'll be looking.
You're starting recording? All right. I'm playing the intro now.
This is Steve Downs, the voice of Master Chief, Spartan 117. Welcome to Quality Time, the KO Koala Entertainment Podcast. Anthony and Skylar will take it from here. Master Chief, out.
Welcome to Quality Time, the KO Koala Entertainment Podcast. My name is Anthony Nicolosi.
And I'm Skylar Sokol.
And today we're going to continue our conversation on first-person shooters. Last week we started our discussion. Actually, immediately upon finishing that episode, I thought of a few things, Skylar, that we didn't talk about.
Really?
Yes. Two actually rather significant things. And then we're going to we're going to go over some of your feedback that you left on some of our posts this week, community on Instagram. So let's see. Were you like me, Skylar? Did you have anything that you like?
There was something at the end of the last episode that I said I wanted to talk. Oh, console versus PC FPSs I wanted to talk about. And
and that wasn't even
playing with controllers versus playing with mouse and keyboard and all of that. I think is really interesting.
Okay. Yeah, right on. Last time I said I didn't even enjoy shooters really all that much, but then when Halo showed up, that changed. Like GoldenEye was all right. Like I said, I enjoyed it a little bit on the 64, but Halo was the first one that really felt good. So talking about how it was implemented there on the controller, that was I felt like the first one that was good on console. Anyway, cool. One of the things we can start off. We'll do this since we're talking all first-person shooter stuff. We'll start with. We'll continue our conversation on first-person shooters, and then we'll touch on some feedback from the community. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Cool. So one thing that I didn't think about, you asked me at some point last week in the podcast why I preferred first-person shooters over platformers or just other kinds of games, and we gave some reasons: the kind of visceral experience, the controls, how good that felt, whatever, a few things. One thing that's a big deal that I forgot to mention was the camera. The camera is a huge deal for me. In third-person experiences, like I don't enjoy third-person shooters almost at all. I like Gears of War is the only one that I kind of enjoy, like from a gameplay perspective. I really like the universe, but from a gameplay perspective that I kind of enjoy. First-person shooters and the first-person camera, I guess it's not exclusive to first-person shooters, but one thing, this is kind of like a lack of, I guess, issues with the first-person camera. On a third-person game, the amount of time, like especially in like tight corners or something like that you have to spend sort of correcting for it with the camera, drives me insane. I hate it. I actually don't really play many third-person experiences. Like I either prefer like a really top-down view or a really like kind of 2.5D, 2D sort of thing, because the camera of third-person games drives me nuts. And in the first-person game, it doesn't. Now, also, one thing that some people have told me is in regards to shooters. Some people at work were telling me that the first-person camera actually makes them more like motion sick.
I could see that.
It's quite the opposite for me.
Interesting. Third-person camera gives you motion sickness.
Third-person camera bothers me way more.
That's crazy. That's really interesting.
I also don't know if you playing on PC, right? You expect your shooters to have a pretty wide field of view. Is that correct? Or at least the option to have one.
Generally I turn it up, but not by that much.
Yeah, because, for example, Halo 3, Halo 5, they had a 70-degree field of view. Narrow as fuck. So, I'm not sure if, to some extent, I don't know, maybe I'm just, like, conditioned and it doesn't bother me. But
all right.
Anyway, first-person camera bothers me much less than third-person cameras. That's a big reason why I enjoy first-person games.
All right, fair enough. What okay, yeah, cameras for me, I don't know. I play games from all different perspectives, so I don't really care like what the camera is. I like third-person games, I like first-person games. One thing to note though, and actually maybe this is a good segue into this controller discussion, is I much prefer playing third-person games on controller, and I much prefer playing first-person games on mouse and keyboard.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's another thing, though, that happens due to the fact that the camera's in the first-person perspective, that you don't get in third-person games, that also I think is part of the reason why it bothers me and just feels a little unnatural, is you don't see a lot of animation. Like, there's a large chunk of the character that's out of view from a first-person perspective, right?
Yeah.
In a third-person game, that's not true. You see at least like the top chunk of the character most of the time, and I don't know. There's something about that that decreases the believability. When there's more left to the imagination, it somehow doesn't bother me as much. I think that if I could see all of the movements like in the third-person games, it just feels more like, I don't know, janky, low quality.
Really? Even though you can see the whole wait, I don't know what third-person games you're playing, but most third-person games you can see the entire character.
Yeah, I know. And because of that, the animations need to live up to what you can see.
Yeah, and I think in most third-person games they do. Like Assassin's Creed is the one that comes to mind for me.
It's still very video gamey, in my opinion. Like, it's very...
Well, it is a video game.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's more left to the imagination from that camera perspective on some of those movements. And I think that just goes some distance for me in regards to the immersion aspect.
Interesting.
So anyway.
Cool.
Yeah. So for the controller thing, you were saying you prefer to play the third-person games. I also like playing. I suck on keyboard and mouse. I've just only recently, like, basically once we started developing our game, started using it more for gameplay. And I'll say that it doesn't, I don't know, like, I think it feels, there's something, I wish somehow somebody would make a controller where you could have, like, the right hand could be a mouse, but the left hand could be the left joystick for a controller.
That is right, because you want the joystick for movement, but the mouse for precision for the shooting.
Yeah.
You know what has actually accomplished that is the fucking Wii with the nunchuck and the Wiimote.
Well, and I love the nunchuck.
Right? Like, you got the joystick and you got the Wiimote for pointing. That's basically a mouse on one hand and a joystick on the other hand.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. There's something that's there's a big part of it, like I was explaining last time, that movement, there's a visceral satisfaction with very primal almost kind of satisfaction with jousting in Halo with that left thumbstick, and I miss that on mouse and keyboard. WASD just doesn't do the same for me. I also feel like it's way more awkward. Maybe it's just a getting used to thing, but I feel like it's way more awkward to hold the pinky down and hit shift to sprint and stuff like that.
Yeah, see, that stuff's like so ingrained in my muscle memory that it doesn't feel weird to me at all, but I get it. Like, imagine. And like I said, in like a third-person game, I much prefer the controller anyway. Like, there's games where I love playing it on controller. Like today, I was playing a shoot-'em-up style game, and on controller is way better for me on that than mouse and keyboard. I like controller way more because, if you have to move diagonally, you can do that so much smoother on a controller, and right? On mouse and keyboard, if you want to go at like a, I don't know what degrees angle this is, like a 15-degree angle, that's like impossible, right, on mouse and keyboard. So for games where that kind of movement matters, the joystick is way better. And so I totally see what you're saying, how I think a joystick on my left hand and a mouse on my right would actually be amazing. Rollick in chat suggests you hold a controller in your left hand and a mouse in your right hand.
While I play.
While you play, yeah. And that's basically a nunchuck and Wiimote setup.
Like
I don't know. Maybe people do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We're breaking new ground here. We'll hit up Michael to see if he can design us a new controller or something.
There you go.
But, you know, on the left thumbstick, the other thing, because one big problem that's showed up in the Halo community recently with the port to PC and everything that we touched on last time is the aim assist that controller players have.
Yeah. So this is a huge thing, and this is part of this discussion I wanted to talk about, right, is this controversy between mouse and keyboard on FPS and controller. And it has played a huge role in FPS multiplayer game design. Like, some FPSs don't go cross-platform specifically because of this difference, right? It's pretty well documented and well known that you obviously can be more precise on a mouse than on a controller. You can be faster and more precise. And so obviously there's an imbalance there, and one way that games remedy that is via aim assist. And you are way more experienced with aim assist than me, right? I very rarely play games with aim assist, so maybe you should talk about aim assist.
So yeah,
like maybe what it is, like how it works, and what it does. Yeah,
for the people who are listening, the way aim assist works, probably a lot of our audience already knows, but some of you, especially if you play on console, when you are aiming your reticule in a shooting game, really in almost anything with controller, there's kind of two really, how can you say, you're really aiming in two places. One where you're actually pointing to with the thumbstick, and the second is where the game is correcting that aim to. So, for example, one great visualization of this that if somebody wants to go check it out is you can YouTube Halo 5 The Sprint. It's a dev, like a Vidoc series of them making Halo 5, and there's one episode where they really stop and they have like all of the debug information on the screen, debug information on the screen, so that you can actually see the aim assist tracking.
So
you can see the reticule, and then you can see the aim assist underneath correcting the aim to the player. So, for example, in games, especially let's say over the last decade, where like advanced mobility has really been a thing in shooters, the aim assist has to account and help the player out for this increased movement. So what you'd see on games like Halo 5, I know Titanfall does something similar. I'm sure the Call of Duty has a very similar implementation as well, the Call of Duty titles. You maybe by default, the gun doesn't have a ton of aim assist, but if the other player is moving, the aim assist starts to really kick in. So much so that on Halo 5, a viable option for the sniper was to kind of line it up roughly equal to like where the head was at and swipe it, like snap it across, because the aim assist helps you out on that, and well, you can land some headshots that way.
Interesting, yeah.
So,
that's such a foreign concept to me, right? Like, I'm pointing directly at the head and shooting, and if I miss, I miss, but... And that's really how it's supposed to feel with aim assist, too. It's supposed to feel like that's how it's working. But I don't know if that's always the case, right?
Right. And, like, this was designed, right, in mind, because if not, it's so hard to be precise with especially that right thumbstick that, like, a shooting game is, like, not enjoyable on these things. So, or
you'll miss a lot more than you want to, and players will have less fun. So to increase like the player enjoyment, they want something like this to make people feel. Fortnite is like notorious for this, and we can talk about that once you say your point.
Yeah, aim assist and bullet magnetism, I was going to say, is another thing related to this. You could in that same Halo 5 trailer, they showed how the bullets would curve towards the player once the reticule was like within a certain proximity of like the head or body or something. The other thing I want to say is another test you could do. Again, bunch of YouTube videos. I know for sure a lot of Halo players have YouTube videos. I'm sure all consoles do, but you can take like an enemy player, you line them up far away, and you can just swing the reticule, right? Like just spin 360 degrees around, and you'll see that the reticule sort of magnetizes to the player as you pass. Like it's like a little bit of a lag as you go by. So that's a way of you seeing that in action, right? If you're on PC, nothing happens. You're just spinning fluidly. If you're on keyboard and mouse, if you are on controller, you see it kind of gravitate to the player and then let go a little delayed as well. So,
right. And so I was going to say Fortnite is one of the games most notorious because that game is crossplay on mobile with PC, right? Is like the biggest jump. It's also on consoles crossplay.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know you could play against PC
yes.
on mobile.
Mobile players, and the mobile has so much aim assist, like unbelievable amounts of aim assist.
That's
when I used to watch Fortnite streamers, they would always be like, "Yeah, that was a mobile player." You could tell because like they looked like they like weren't like shooting at me at all, but all their bullets hit my head.
Yeah, like I said, how can you? From the developer's perspective, it's how can we make this an enjoyable experience? Can you imagine trying to tippity tap with your little bitsy fingernail like the right spot? It's never gonna happen.
Very hard. Yeah, you need that aim assist. And Valorant's been talking about this too. They were talking about how they might develop the game for console, but they want it to feel as satisfying and as tactical and as like the gunplay needs to feel like it does on PC. And I don't know how you accomplish that on a controller because like the whole point of Valorant, right, is if you hit the head, you get the one hit headshot. And if you don't, you don't, right? It's like a one bullet difference matters so much, and that's one bullet out of like a spray that lasts like 0.1 seconds, right? So that kind of precision is really hard to replicate on controller.
So what do you propose as a solution to these games? Kind of like what Halo had of you have a chunk of the population that plays on PC with controller, a chunk that plays without. What should they do? Do you I think some viable options are you just segregate the two.
Yep.
You don't let them play together.
Or at least give the option to segregate, like option to not have crossplay is a good one. Rocket League does that, for example.
You could also like down the aim assist on controller, but then you have the design headache of maybe that's somewhat viable for higher skilled players, but for like newbie players playing casual modes who are impacted by that change as well, it's maybe not ideal, right?
Honestly, yeah, I don't know. I think keeping them separate is the best choice, honestly, which is annoying because of crossplay, and like crossplay increases the size and the players playing and the population, but I think the disparity is enough, and the hoops you have to jump over is annoying. I think the crossplay, if you have it, should be off by default, not on by default, which is generally the case. And for PC players, like they probably would always opt in because they don't care, and I don't know, right? Like it depends how good the aim assist is. If it makes controller players have an unfair advantage, I don't know. It just seems like a design problem that I don't want to have to solve, right? I would much rather not have to solve that problem.
Well, and like I said, you have to solve it for players of all skill levels on controller.
Right, exactly. And that's the hard part. Like the aim assist problem on controller is the problem, right? Like the mouse and keyboard is you point and click, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I don't like one thing that will be very interesting coming up here is that Halo Infinite's coming out and it's going to be on PC and the thing. And I'm interested in what's going to happen on the competitive side of things because traditionally that's been a console esport. It's always played on controller. All of your, pros, your legacy pros have been playing on controller.
Right. Are these like Counter-Strike pros gonna come in and like shake up the Halo scene because they're mouse and keyboard and they can wreck these people?
For example, Summit tried out Halo Reach. He's ex-CS.
Right. Summit's a very good FPS
and he
gamer.
Quit Reach because he was getting shit on by the Halo pros who are using controllers
because of aim assist.
Because of the difference, yeah. There was just a noticeable assistance. Of course, he's playing against like current day Halo pros, right?
So they're going to be really good regardless, and the absolute best at taking advantage of the system.
Yeah, and they're going to make the right pushes and everything. Like from a gameplay perspective, there's other elements involved into why he's maybe not performing high, but the fact is that it's there, and so you probably want that door to be open to those PC players, right? Like those keyboard and mouse competitive PC players where that scene has been growing the last couple decades. Like you want that to be open to Halo, right?
I mean the PC, like the PC FPS scene is huge. Like The PC FPS games have been some of the most popular games, like Team Fortress 2. Counter-Strike is still, even to this day, in the top like 5 most streamed games on Twitch, always, all day, every day.
Yeah. I don't know
like
what
it's
you
a
do.
huge community that Halo definitely wants to tap into. I actually saw very interesting, I think it was Twitter post of someone talking about gatekeeping PC players out of Halo, because like saying that people shouldn't do that because people are being like pissed. They're like, yeah, if you're gonna play Halo on PC, you should be playing with a controller. Why would you play on mouse and keyboard? Blah blah. Just so funny from my perspective, because I'm like, it's well documented that mouse and keyboard is better for FPSs, so why would I not? And like, apparently people are like gatekeeping Halo to say like it's a controller game.
The problem is like you'll have to deal with that initial, you're gonna maybe lose some pros in the transition, right? Like if you were to say we're going keyboard and mouse, you might lose some pros, but yeah, the future awaits. We'll see what happens there. I'll be interested to see how they go about that.
Yeah, it just seems so hard to balance for competitive play the aim assist to make controller and mouse and keyboard balanced, that like I don't see that working from a competitive perspective like at all. Yeah.
Now aim assist is one thing that controller has for it, but like the rate of speed at which you can turn and maneuver, like how fast do you play? Would you say that your sensitivity in shooters is high?
When you play in tactical shooters, I play with very low sensitivity.
Oh, okay.
That's what you're supposed to do. I play 800 DPI, 0.51 sensitivity in Valorant, so I don't know how familiar you are with DPI, but like if my mouse is on that sensitivity right now, and I have to move like halfway across my pretty large mouse pad to get it to go all the way across my screen. Basically, like the way you're supposed to do it is your character should do a 360 if you move your mouse all the way across your mouse pad. So that should give you an idea of how low that sensitivity is. Because shooting in the head matters so much in Valorant that the precision is more important. I don't need to make large sweeping motions. I need to make very precise, tiny adjustments.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, on controller, I play with low sensitivity. That's why I was wondering, because I play with low sensitivity just because it's so freaking hard to hit some shit at high sensitivity on the right thumbstick.
That's exactly right. It's for precision, right?
Yeah, you can leverage that left thumbstick to kind of put yourself at an angle for the shot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, we have a bunch of feedback coming in here. Do you have any other things that you want to say?
No, let's go down the feedback path for the next 10 minutes and this podcast after.
Because we have Sand Squid and Lynx Potter in the Twitch chat, especially Lynx Potter, just harassing us, just unbelievable. Lynx really wants me to read the following.
Wait, don't read the whole thing out loud. Read it to yourself and then give us unless it needs to be read out loud.
Yeah, I think we'll need to read this one out loud. It's good. Good job, Lynx.
Let's hear
formulating your thoughts. So Lynx said Minecraft is a first-person shooter. That's the premise of this comment that I'm about to read here.
The short essay.
Yes, he says, well, in Minecraft, it just has a very different and unique design. The mechanics of the ranged weapons feel very natural and clean like butter. It has a lot of interesting and fun game modes like Sky Wars, where you fight in the sky, and Bed Wars, where the main objective is to destroy everyone else's bed so they can't respawn, and the last one standing is the winner. Minecraft is also the most popular game in the world, even more than the shitty Fortnite game.
Whoa! The call out.
So overall, this is why it is the best first-person shooter of all time. Also on mobile, it's good as well.
Fortnite isn't a first-person shooter, though, right?
Yes. So unfortunately, Lynx, Fortnite is not a first-person shooter, so we're gonna have to dismiss that part of your argument. However, I agree that I find Minecraft's like the bow, and now they added the is it the crossbow, the one where it's like a V and you pull it back?
Oh, I haven't tried that yet.
Crossbow. But
that is a crossbow in like actual weaponry, so I assume so.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. I might be screwing that up. And I find those pretty enjoyable to shoot and interestingly balanced.
The bow is really fun to use in Minecraft. I mean, physics-based weapons in general are really fun, right? To have to line up your shot, shoot it, and like hit that skeleton from the top of a tower is really satisfying. So
yeah,
maybe that's enough to say it's a first-person shooter, because the shooting mechanics that are in a game that has a ton more than being a first-person shooter are really good.
Have you ever played some of those modes that you called out? Like, Okay.
I used to play them
I
all the
think they're
time.
fun.
They were some of my favorite parts of Minecraft. Like the Hunger Games maps, that was like one of my
Yeah.
favorite things to do in Minecraft. Especially when
I
battle
think-
royales were shit. That was like when battle royales weren't fun. Like I didn't want to
Dude,
play
I
PUBG.
that still might be my favorite battle royale.
It's like the Hunger Games Minecraft stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Minecraft ones. I really enjoy those. Okay, cool. So on Instagram, we asked. I'll get to Squid's comment here in a sec, but we asked people, what is the best first-person shooter ever?
Woof.
Which
How many
went
said
in straight.
Fortnite?
Uh,
Because that's not a first-person
not many.
shooter.
A
Okay,
few
good.
did,
Okay,
and
good.
we had to help them out, but not many. Somebody said NHL 2020, which I guess if you can mod it in, you know.
I mean, you're shooting pucks at the net. I don't know if it's first-person perspective though.
Shit, man! If you got first person, you put a mod in there. Might as well be a shooter.
There you
Snipe
go.
some heads off.
Yep.
Those slap shots. Elijah BR2 says Destiny 2. I swear the gunplay and movement is some of the best feeling stuff I've ever felt in a game. And even the simplest of techniques have high skill gaps to them that allow for greater play. Love the game to pieces, man.
So that's really interesting because I think you specifically, I remember telling me that you did not think the gunplay felt that good in Destiny.
Well, and so here's one I think that I wish I could zip over to Elijah and ask him right now. I wonder if he's playing on PC because on console it was 30 FPS.
Blech.
Yeah, bleh is right. And 30 FPS, and on the Xbox One, I think it was even like somewhat of a compromised resolution and everything. And it's just, I don't know. Like I just think when I played they had a beta on PC that I played just the opening sequence up for at 60 frames per second and everything. And I thought to myself, like, wow, this is way more smooth. I wonder what I would have thought about the gameplay if it was at 60 FPS at least.
Interesting.
On PC.
Yeah.
I've debated jumping back into there. I've asked some people at our job who are huge Destiny fans. We have like a whole bunch of Destiny fans at our job about how they enjoy that gunplay over other shooters that they play. And they also really like the gunplay. And one theory I have is maybe because it's so freaking forgiving, in my opinion. There's a lot of guns that I feel like we were talking about the aim assist and bullet magnetism. Some are intentionally designed to, right, with Destiny. Like you have some like leveled up guns that it's like a fucking homing rocket launcher or some shit. But I feel like it's a pretty forgiving shooter in regards to gunplay. So maybe that's why some people find it satisfying.
Yeah, I haven't played it like almost at all, so I can't really say it. But that's
right.
That's cool. That's an interesting comment. We got more?
Yes, we have an Overwatch fan saying that is Cherry Cola Orgy. Nice. All right. It says, I love the character dynamics and how it's team-based, especially with the use of ultimates. What do you think of the Overwatch ultimates?
So I was going to say, Overwatch, I played it a lot when it first came out, and the most satisfying moments are Overwatch, like, are using your abilities well, and ultimates are one of the abilities you can use really well. So that shit, like, that's really satisfying. I think Overwatch does a great job of creating really satisfying moments. Like, it's possible to, like, 1v5 an entire team in Overwatch if you do it right. So, especially with an ultimate. So, I don't know, like, yeah, the gunplay in Overwatch is really fun. I can totally see people saying that's their favorite FPS. I'm surprised it still is, because that game has gotten very stale for a lot of people. But some people just love it so much, and like we've talked about before, it's so polished, and Blizzard puts so much work behind the lore effort and just like creating the universe that I can totally see why some people are still very immersed in it.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I only played the beta, so I don't have a ton of perspective on it. There were other things that made me not like it, like I've talked before, so I'll take your guys' word for it. Yeah. Now, Squid gave us a huge long answer about why he likes, like, overall he said he liked Halo most, but he had some good feedback around Call of Duty, his second favorite. You're playing Call of Duty right now. Call of Duty Warzone.
I play like a solo round of Warzone almost every night, just like one or two rounds because it's so fun.
And what do you think?
I mean, it's so
from a gunplay perspective. Shit. Say it.
It's all right. It's all right. It's very fun, but it is not objectively good. Like if in the beginning you go to like practice mode, and right now for some reason maybe this is a bug, but in the pre-battle royale area that you go into where you can normally kill people, you can't kill people right now for some reason. So I just like aimed at someone's head and held down left click and shot them, and just to like see what it would be like, there was 0 recoil on my gun for the entire clip. Like my gun stayed in the exact same place I started shooting from for the entire clip that I emptied.
Well, and here's the problem with Call of Duty having that, is that it has fast time to kill.
Very fast. Yes.
It's OP
you
as
die
fuck.
in like, yes. And that's, so if you're, basically it's whoever starts shooting first wins every gunfight.
Exactly.
And that's bad
That's
shooting design. But I love Warzone. The design of that battle royale, I think, is the best of any battle royale by far. And that's why I like it. Because Warzone, the map and the gulag at mechanics, all the mechanics of Warzone. If we ever have a battle royale episode, I could so we talk about why battle royales are good and what's bad about their design. Warzone is like the pinnacle of battle royale design, in my opinion. It does everything right from my perspective.
Okay,
and that's why I like it so much.
We actually did get a ton of feedback around battle royales this past week, so that might be our next topic. We'll see. You guys will have to stay tuned. Well, so Squid says his thoughts on the current COD, the current Call of Duty, Modern Warfare. He also throws in a little bit regarding skill-based matchmaking because he thinks it's part of it.
Okay.
But he said this Call of Duty is very casual-oriented. And like that gunplay example that you just gave sort of reinforces that perception, right? You can't pick maps like traditional Call of Duties. The mini-map doesn't show an enemy firing without a suppressor, and lots of weapons are hit marker machines. Also, there are lots of doors and windows, so you can camp all the time, so definitely test your patience. Hit markers is a very interesting thing. Let's just talk real quick about it, because it's something that has shown up in first-person shooters as I think it does a good job of communicating what has happened. Like, did my shot register? Did I hit something? This was a huge point of contention, though, in Halo. Halo had traditionally not had hit markers for anything. And then in Halo 4, they introduced hit markers for shots and grenades, and it's fucking OP. Like, because I can throw a grenade around the corner, and it's essentially an extension of radar or some shit, right?
Right.
Because
you hear the
I
hit
see
marks.
the guy.
This is a huge problem in Warzone as well, actually, where I can shoot with an assault rifle from like a rooftop, and because it has no recoil, if I start hearing hit markers at the person I'm shooting at, I know to just like stay where I'm at or start tracking them really easily, and I get free kills. Valorant, no hit markers. You like, because there's smoke grenades, and in tactical shooters it makes no sense to have hit markers, right? Because the whole point is that you deny vision with smoke. So that means if you shoot someone through the smoke, you need to just keep shooting, and maybe you'll kill them. But you don't hear when you hit someone with a bullet in Valorant. And I think for some games it works well, and for some games there's really would ruin the game.
For those who are listening who are Halo people and they're like, I don't get people's problems, like, you have to think that totally de-incentivizes communication. Like, it
takes away from the team play aspect.
And especially in like Halo. So for example, if you're in Call of Duty and you throw a grenade and it kills a guy, like if it hits a guy, it's very likely going to kill him. Like in Call of Duty. In Halo, that's not the case. It weakens his shields, which is a very important moment in the game. Like, coordinating a takedown on a player by one guy taking his shields out and the other guy cleaning him up, or a combination of that. So it's a big part of strategy in Halo. And so de-incentivizing, like, before you had to have like the line of sight and the map advantage, the map positioning, to know that the nade landed, and 2, that the guy was weak, right? Now you get that knowledge for free off the nades, and it's very powerful. The pro, so 343 signed a pro team, like ex-Halo pros, to help design Halo 5 to make sure it was competitively viable.
Okay.
And the pros said that during design they were told, you have to give up either hit markers or grenade markers. You can't give up both.
Really?
Yeah, and they chose grenade markers, and so you still get hit markers in Halo 5, like on your shots, but not on the nades.
Interesting. Well, I think that's much better.
No, I'm sorry, I'm lying. You don't get. I'm sorry, it wasn't grenade markers. You do get grenade markers. You throw the nade, and you actually do see markers. indicators, grenade indicators. So when you're sitting there and a
Oh,
nade is next to
that
you,
it shows you that it's next to you. Really,
Yeah,
I think
so they
that's
got-
way more balanced than grenade markers. Here, like that's a big thing. Grenade and like ability and shot indicators do exist in Valorant. Like if you hear a shot, it will show you like on which side of your character it came from.
But if you got hit, right?
Right.
Or always.
Right. If
Yeah.
you get hit.
Because in Halo 2, like you have somewhat of a HUD, but yeah, I think that in the end they made that decision. Halo 5 is a very fast-paced shooter. It made more sense. But anyway, the point being that these do have design implications, right? There's the gameplay implications.
Yeah,
especially
Virals
these top-
pointed out something in the chat that I thought was funny. He said, speaking of aim assist, Soldier 76's ultimate, which I don't know if you're familiar with, but that just makes your bullets like automatically target people in
Really?
like an area you shoot. Yeah, so if anyone wants to experience what aim assist is like on mouse and keyboard, just play Soldier 76 in Overwatch.
Okay.
That's the aim assist experience. Then everyone will want to play on console because they'll be like, wow, I could just shoot people by shooting anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it is, once you get used to shooting on console, it is honestly very satisfying, but
I mean, clearly
It is
tons of people
definitely
play
OP.
FPSs on console, so there has to be something to it, right? And maybe it's what you said, though. Maybe the shooting isn't as satisfying as it is on mouse and keyboard, but the movement with the joystick adds enough to it that people still like it a lot.
yeah, no, I mean, I don't think that it's a different demographic. I don't think they have the same kind of
goals.
requirements in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
What
they're looking for different things.
What else you got
So-
for us? We're coming close to the end, so maybe just give us a little bit, a couple more.
Yeah, Squid, I am thank you very much for your feedback. Squid had a lot on skill-based matchmaking right there that I'll save maybe for another time if
That's
we
fine,
if
yeah.
we talk about it. So SE1 said Valorant. He's the best
Hell
FPS
yeah.
ever.
I love Valorant, so
I said, "What's your favorite part about it?" He says, "I like the theme. I mainly played run and gun games, so the whole stand and shoot was pretty hard to get used to." So he acknowledges that part was kind of weird. I think you said that too, right?
yep. That is a big part of the game, and like one of the core mechanics that all the like Fortnite kids were coming and playing. You can easily tell when someone came from Overwatch is like the meme if they are running and gunning in Valorant and you're spectating.
But hey, touching on our conversation, right? Like, if that's another design consideration in the event that the player could move more while shooting, it's another thing you have to keep in mind when you balance the sandbox, when you balance the.
Oh yeah, it makes no
the
sense
gun,
for
right?
Valorant like at all to
Yeah.
have moving and shooting.
So, right on. Now he says, but the game isn't too punishing of that. He didn't think the game was too punishing in regards to having to stand and shoot.
Yeah.
I can still land decent shots, and abilities help spice the game up a lot. So
Nice.
SE1 in the Valorant club.
I mean,
Right on,
getting
man.
kills in Valorant is really satisfying. The reality of you having 1 life per round, right, and having like a 0.1 second kill time means that like every kill you get could have been you not playing for the rest of the round, right?
Right.
So like just the tension of the design itself makes every kill so satisfying.
Right. No, it's I get it. I'll get it. Yeah, Squid. We have Sand Squid here in chat, live in chat, saying we skipped part of his message. So sorry, Sand Squid. But if you guys listening, you get some proof. We are interacting live with our chat. We are live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. You can find us on Twitch.
And
We live
tune
streamed
in.
it.
I might do a pre-stream starting at 7:30 p.m. At least that's
All
what
right,
happened
there you
this week. I played a really cool shoot 'em up roguelike called oh my god, it's long and I don't want to say it wrong. Called The Void Reigns Upon Her Heart. Check it out. It's $10 on Steam and it's amazing, and the soundtrack is amazing. I'm gonna make Anthony listen to it. And the dev Virals came and hung out with me in chat while I was streaming, and it was great. So come join the pre-stream. I'll play random obscure indie games and you'll love them.
Cool guy, cool soundtrack, guys. Like, look, there are so many talented developers, artists out there who this actually stuck out to me in the PS5 event a little bit. It was one developer said something, but I think this is true, like for almost everyone who makes games, maybe everyone, like they really like pour their hearts and souls into these games. They hope you love these experiences. And when they're good, like if you can, please support these experiences by purchasing them, checking them out. I mean, $10, fuck, like that's a big Jimmy John sandwich, you know? Like
right, exactly. For
please,
this game has like, you know, it's a roguelike. It has like infinite replayability. He said it's going to have Binding of Isaac like mechanics. Binding of Isaac is like a hundreds of hours long game, right? So you pay $10 for hundreds of hours.
Yes,
easy.
Yeah, it's insane value. And Virals is in chat. He said literal heart and soul in there. So please, guys, if you're listening, please go check out. What is the name of the game again?
It is The Void Reigns Upon Her Heart.
The Void Reigns Upon Her Heart. Available on Steam as early access, right?
Yeah, and it's actually going to come out on Xbox when it is in full release. So. Oh
shit! There you go, listeners. You Xbox guys, go check this game out. Go pick it up. Help out Mr. Virals. And it's like I want to check out the soundtrack. For many games, the part of the game that I interact with the most is the soundtrack.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So where can people find us?
So you can find us at our website, koalaentertainment.com. There you can find links to all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, koala_ENT, at koala_ENT. Also on TikTok. Right now we are doing a giveaway. Go to our Instagram, go follow that link, and you can enter. Oh, check out our YouTube. The easiest way to find out our YouTube, you know, Google us. YouTube us, whatever. Koala Entertainment.
They're owned by the same company.
Or yeah, go through the giveaway link on the Instagram. You'll get more additional entries. Win some G Fuel. Unless
you're Link Spotter, then you can't.
G Fuel and unless you're Link Spotter who lives in England and has scammy IP, origin points or some shit.
Right.
And Gleam rejects you.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's where you can find us. But most of all, check out the Discord. This is where all the good stuff happens. You can get a sneak peek at the universe of our game. You can join the research projects for Agora Institute.
The Agora Institute, ARG of sorts. Get in there, get researching, join your team. Yeah, and we're starting to release some lore now. There's research milestones, and when you reach them, I'm going to post some lore out. So that's going to start getting mysterious. So, yeah, get in there. Check it out.
And you can see all the memes that Lynx Potter makes.
With our faces on them, yeah. Most recently, we got Coffin Dance meme, and now we have a Teletubbies meme. So.
Oh, shit, I didn't see the Teletubbies
Yeah, it's a
yet.
new, fresh, off the presses in the last, hour. So.
All right.
Well, thanks for listening.
Right on. Let us know what you think. Join the Discord. Find us somewhere. Message us. Tell us what you think and what you'd like us to talk about. We'll see you next time.
Tune in next week. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.